Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks, and today we're going to be getting into a new episode of team building. So this is, I want to build around a Sunroom team. So I wanted to kind of show you my thought process and what goes into building a team, and I want to kind of do just like a basic team building. I am going to make another video utilizing a lot of tools that I use to team build, like Maryland and just a bunch of other like damage calculators and things like that. And I just kind of want to make another separate video just to show you like some of the tools that you can use to team build when you're building around a specific core or a certain Pokemon, right? But today I just want to build pretty much a basic sun routine. So I do want to start with the basics of Lilligant and Torkoal, right? So we want to do Lilligant and Torkoal, and this is going to be our Sun core. So I do want to build, make it a Trick Room team. I haven't built the Sun Room team since Sword and Shield, so I kind of wanted to, bring that back. And now we want to look for our Trick Room setter, right? So who do we think would be a good Trick Room setter beside this? The old team, used to be like Torkoal, Venusaur plus Hatterene and Indeedee. So that core worked pretty well, and I think Lilligant plays a similar role to the Venusaur with the Sleep Powder. So I think I do want to have Indeedee, right, just to prevent priority and stop the fake outs and things like that. And so I need to have another Trick Room setter alongside Indeedee, and now Indeedee's even better this generation because it gets Trick Room now. It didn't get Trick Room in the previous generation. So, and I want someone that's gonna put on a little bit of pressure, as well as can apply Trick Room. So here's something that you can do when you're looking for, like, if you're looking for a sweeper and you don't really know what you want to choose, but you have the bases that you want them to have Trick Room, right? You have two options. You can go with a special attacking powerful sweeper, or a physical attacking powerful sweeper, right? And in order to organize that while you're in Showdown, you want to just click this right here, the attack, and not the attack right here because you're just going to select Armor Rouge. You want to select the one in the gray. And that's going to organize it from the most powerful attackers to the weakest, right? And if you click it again, it's going to organize it from weakest to strongest. But we want to look at the strongest, right? So we're going to go from strongest. So there's Iron Valiant. He does get Trick Room, but he's pretty slow. And Meowscarada's not really that powerful. Gallade is interesting. It is, decently in a decent speed tier to where it could play in Trick Room and Tailwind, and it is pretty powerful. But I don't know if that's what I really want to look for. I do already have, a fighting type in Lilligant, and I don't want to have something else that's kind of frail and kind of just falls to Flutter Mane, similarly to Lilligant. And this is pretty much your list for physical attacker. So I'm really thinking that physical attacking is not gonna do it. So let's look at the special attackers. So Hatterene is interesting. I think it's decent, but it doesn't get expanding force anymore. And actually, Armor Rouge is, I kind of like the Flash Fire. Now I'm thinking about it. Flutter Mane is a little bit too fast. Gardevoir is not really that strong right now. And I think Farigiraf is a little bit too passive, and I don't really see any of these being options. Articuno is interesting. You put like an Iron Ball on it. Does it get expanding force? They took expanding force from it, so you can't even do the Iron Ball strategy to ground it and make it slower, and it also can click expanding force. That would be like a unique little tech. So I think I'm gonna go with Armor Rouge. I like the Flash Fire. Similar to like Heatran, you kind of wall out other Sun teams, and I want to make this team a little bit unique. So I might build like different sets around this core just to make it unique. I think Safety Goggles is a good item on it, but we're just gonna finish selecting the Pokemon right now. But like I was saying, like a Grass Terra plus Flash Fire makes you like completely wall like the Lilligant Torkoal stuff, just like similar to like Heatran, right? But let's get our last two teammates. So I do want another sweeper under Trick Room, and I kind of want a physical sweeper. So we can go back to this list and click attack, right? And we can look at some of the most powerful attackers and look at their speed tiers. So Glacier is pretty strong, but do I want Glacier on a Sun team? I think Glacier is better fit for like a Snow team because you're powering up things that are super effective into you, right? And we kind of don't want to do that. And I kind of want to stay like in like the really powerful stage. I don't think King Gam is that good right now. I think Ursaluna might be the pick. Cleavor is decent, but I don't think it's really meant to really sweep under Trick Room. Carbomino's okay, but then again, it's an ice type, so that's the same thing similar to to Glacier, right? We don't want to just weaken, our Trick Room sweeper and make it easier for it to KO. So I think I'm gonna go with Ursaluna as my sweeper. And now we need one more. So I want a fake out user to assist me with setting up Trick Room, right? So this way I can lead Armarouge plus the fake out user and just fake out one of the mons and potentially get Trick Room out when I feel like their team has a lot of spread moves to where this can't easily get up Trick Room, right? Even with the terrors. So I do want a fake out user. So we're gonna type fake out in the box right here. And now we're going to take a look at our fake out users. So we have Rillaboom, Iron Hands, Grimmsnarl, Gothitelle, Tinkaton, Toxicroak, and Sableye. So those are pretty much, our slower fake out users that can play under Trick Room once the Trick Room goes up. And of course Hariyama, but I don't think Hariyama's that good right now. I'm leaning towards Iron Hands and Rillaboom. Rillaboom is kind of counterintuitive because a Grassy Serrage is going to actually remove my Indeedee's terrain. So I kind of don't want to do that. And also it doubles down on the grass types. I already have Lilligant. I don't think I need 2 grass types on a fire team or a sun team. Grimmsnarl's okay, but I think my team's a little bit more hyper offensive, even though it's Trick Room. It's under Trick Room, it's hyper offensive. And so the screens don't really help me much. So I think I'm gonna go with Iron Hands. I know I am doubling down on the 2 fighting types, but we can, build this Iron Hands in a way that is unique so that it doesn't feel like the same like fighting role as Lilligant. And plus Lilligant's more so gonna be, they're not probably gonna be brought together that often, but Lilligant's more so gonna be on the faster core of this team. Even though this is all slow, Lilligant like on lead, if they can't deal with it, then you can kind of sweep teams with Torkoal and then come in the end game with like Indeedee Armarouge, right? So that's kind of the premise. I did want a second Trick Room setter, but I guess Indeedee will have to be my second Trick Room setter. I know it is pretty counterintuitive to go with Iron Hands and Indeedee because you can't fake out, but a lot of the times with a good Terror on Indeedee, they don't have ways to stop you from going for Trick Room. And then you can go for like Swords Dance or something on Iron Hands. But I'm not sure if I want to play towards that set just yet. But this is kind of what I want to go with. We have, pretty good coverage. We don't have any flying resistance. And we do have, 3 ground weaknesses. So we're going to have to build our terrors in a way to support these ground weaknesses, right? Starting with Lilligant. There's 2 options for items on this, I believe, is really good. I haven't seen Choice Band yet. And that kind of gets rid of, going for the sleep powder shenanigans after you. And that's kind of not what we want to use. But I have heard, through the grapevine that Choice Band Lilligant is really strong, right? But so the 2 items we want to choose between is Focus Sash and Covert Cloak. I think Focus Sash is going to be better because while Covert Cloak does prevent me from being faked out, I can't survive like a single hit, right? So that means like a double up or like an extreme speed Choice Band next to Chien-Pao is gonna just one shot Lilligant. And while you can switch in Indeedee, do you really want to just be switching in Indeedee to stop them from one hit KO and Lilligant? And they can just choose not to go for that and read your switch in and then just KO Lilligant that way, right? I mean, you can make plays around it and like go for like a sleep powder, but I think the Focus Sash is more consistent. And you still, prone to fake out, right? So 2 things that we can do about that. We can either add Protect here, or we can add Ghost Terror here. And I'm kind of thinking about Ghost Terror more so than the Protect. And only because we want to play after you strategy, right? And then we also want to go for Sleep Powder just so we kind of feel the Venusaur role, similar to that. Like we kind of feel like the Venusaur and the Lilligant role, right? But for like Venusaur being offensive, adding Sleep Powder in the sun, and Lilligant being supportive, adding Sleep Powder and after you in the sun. So we kind of do both. We do want close combat. It's just really powerful and we're focused at, so we don't really care about dropping our defenses. And now we need, we want to go with a grass type move. So we have grass coverage. There's two options. We have Leaf Blade and we have Solar Blade. So the idea behind Solar Blade is if you have multiple Sunsetters on your team, like let's say I had like a Tornadus with Sunny Day, or a Booster Energy Flutter Mane with Sunny Day, then I would go Solar Blade because it's more likely that you have the sun up. But since we only have Torkoal, and it's often that, you know, they might just have a Rain Dance against us, I kind of want to go with the Leaf Blade, right? Just so we can consistently damage, you know, water types, and they can't stop us from attacking with grass type attacks. While it is weaker than Solar Blade, it does have the chance to crit, which is higher. So that might make it stronger than Solar Blade, and also it's not turned off by the sun not being there, right? So I like to, you know, calculate my mons by level 100. All right, and we can just go with the shiny because I think it's pretty cool. And we just want to be max attack, you know, max speed. We can actually go adamant here because I don't think we need to worry about the Lilligant Mirror. It's not that common, so we can get the most out of our attacks. And then 309, when you double that, that becomes 618, and that's, you know, pretty fast. That's still outspeeding Arm Bundle. I believe Arm Bundle hits 612. If you just want to use just a calculator, we could pull it up. You can't see my calculator, but I'm pulling up. So you want to do Arm Bundle is 408 times 1.5. That's 612. So yeah, we're outspeeding Arm Bundle, so we don't have to. We can go adamant, you know, get more out of our attack stat. So that's pretty good. We're gonna put the last of it in HP, and then let's go over to Torkoal. So how can we make this Torkoal, you know, different? I don't know if we should make it different. I kind of was thinking maybe like a Ghost Terror, but Ghost Terror really works alongside Lilligant with Covert Cloak, because at that point you can make sure that you get off your eruption and you don't have to worry about fake out, right? But the thing about that is I would like to see that. I probably will build that later, the Ghost Terror Torkoal plus the Covert Cloak Lilligant on a team that is more offensive and not Trick Room based, like just that has a Lilligant Torkoal core, but it's more of a Sun team, is more faster paced, right? Because then I can play towards that Torkoal and I don't need it to be in Trick Room. So I can have it out on the field with the Ghost Terror, and I can have, like, you know, like a Farigiraf on that team or something, so they can't sucker punch Torkoal. So I kind of like that. So for this team though, we're gonna go with I want to go to level 100 always, right? And we'll leave that alone for now. I think Fire Terror is the best. I don't want to get locked into choice specs because I want to be able to protect with Torkoal turn 1, and I still want to deal a lot of damage. So I'm gonna go with Charcoal. We definitely want to do the after you eruptions. In case we take any chip, we do want Heat Wave. Now we do want Protect here. So now our last move is going to be a filler move. We have a couple choices. We have Clear Smog, right? So we can, you know, help with the Dozo matchup. We have Solar Beam, Sludge Bomb, and Earth Power. Right, Earth Power. Earth Power helps us hit Heatran and just other fire types that we can't really hit with the fire type stab. And then I was also thinking about Yawn or Will-O-Wisps, but that's a little bit more supportive on a supportive Torkoal set. I think when I do the Ghost Terror Torkoal, I am going to add Yawn because I feel like that can be pretty annoying for my opponent, forcing them to go to sleep. So I think I'm going to go Earth Power, just to hit Heatran in case they burn their Terror and it's not able to Terror. And so let's go to the EVs. So I know I want max special attack, just so Torkoal does the most damage and make it quiet nature. So it's special attack is boosted and its speed is dropped, right? They want to make it min speed because we want to make sure that we underspeed all the other Torkoals under Trick Room in case they're not minimum speed. And we can go for the EV bump here just to get a little bit more EVs for the rest of our stats. So the EV bump is pretty much in the stat that you have boosted. At certain points, it'll jump by 2 instead of 1, right? So let's see. It starts right here from 229 for 12. You see it jumps from 29 to 31 instead of going to that 30. That's the EV bump. So you always want to make sure wherever you leave your marker that is right over the EV bump. and that's how you get the most, because the damage doesn't change much after the EV bump, right? The EV bumps are really what shows like the damaging difference in like the damage rolls. So I kind of like to go to like the last EV bump. So whatever it is before the last EV bump, that way we get the most out of our damage, right? And we still get more stats. Let's see, where is it? Right here. So it's 216. So pretty much the rest of this, you don't really need it because the damage won't change much, right? So you want to just stop at the EV bump right there. And then we want to pretty much, I like to put a little bit in defense, just so it messes up people's calcs in case they're calc to not one-shot Torko, like that. And then actually we can pretty much go to maybe 200, right? And then we put the rest in HP. And actually we're gonna bring the special defense down just a little bit, right? And then we want to go to 9. And the reason it's 9 is if Rillaboom or anything's on the field that chips you, like Sandstorm, 9 allows you to take the least amount of damage. So you're taking less damage when you get chipped. So usually you take about 11 damage. This helps you like I think you take about 10 between those chips. This just optimizes so you take less chip damage, those type of moves. And then we just put the rest in special defense, right? And then I think this is a pretty good Torko set. It's getting a lot of power. Like I said, we don't have to be all the way maxed out on the special attack. We're going to be doing a lot of damage with the Fire Terror Eruption, plus the Sun and also Charcoal, right? So we're doing a lot of damage still. So next we want to go to Indeedee. So Indeedee, we're going to have Psychic Surge. I do want the Rocky Helmet. I do want to threaten like Breaking Sashes so Torko can one-hit KO things more. Like I say, I always go to level 100 because that's just the way that I taught myself how to EV when I first started playing this game. I didn't like take any like courses on how to, you know, team build. So I just played around with it, and I actually learned like all my speed tiers and damage calcs through level 100. So what I usually do when I'm finished, to finish optimizing, I drop everything back down to level 50, and I make sure that it's like nothing speed tying or like none of my calcs are messed up, and I just move them a little bit if they are, right? Because the level 100 kind of drops it just a little bit. But if you do it from level 100, you're still pretty much on point. So Indeedee, one of the most common terrors right now on it is Fairy, and I feel like a lot of people are expecting that right now. And Urshifu can still like do a lot of damage to you even with Fairy Terror. Fairy Terror is really good on Indeedee. It does help you, you know, get around the Dragonite, right? I think Choice Band Dragonite with Outrage can be kind of annoying for my team. So I was thinking Water, but now that I see like I don't have any Fairy immunity, and also like Regidrago can just, you know, wipe through my team, right? So I kind of want to make Indeedee Fairy Terror. You know, that way we can sit in front of Regidrago and Dragonite and we can deal damage to them. I kind of want Dazzling Gleam just to do a little bit of chip to them. And like I said, this way we can, you know, chip down the dragons and we can't be knocked out by those dragon moves. And we also resist like Dark type, which is, you know, Indeedee's weakness before terrors, right? We also resist Bug, which is one of Indeedee's another one of his weaknesses. So Fairy Terror is good on it. Like I said, Water is decent. Water helps you against like Chi-Yu and things like that, so they can't like KO you with. Most likely they're gonna go for a Dark type attack anyway, but just in case they go for a Fire type attack, you won't be KO'd. But I think I'm gonna stick with the Fairy and just get a little bit more, you know, damage on my Dazzling. All right, and we will definitely want to have Helping Hand so that we can help out, you know, any of our other damage dealers, right? Let's see. I was thinking about Psychic, but I think that, you know, Follow Me, the Helping Hand is going to be a little bit better than Psychic. So, you know, we want to have Follow Me and Trick Room. Right, and so to EV our Indeedee, we want to go with a defense nature, and we kind of want to be slow just so in case they have a slow Rillaboom that we always get our terrain up first. So let's go with defense and relaxed. And defense is so that, you know, Indeedee doesn't just get wiped out and they can just one hit KO Armarouge with like a physical attack. Indeedee's special defense is already pretty good, so we want to, you know, put some defense onto it. So I kind of want to bring it up to the second to last EV bump right there with 231, and then bring its special defense up to about 270, right? I think this is pretty good defensively. And then we put a lot of it in. I do want to bring up the special attack just a little bit, so we're not hitting things with like a wet noodle. We do some type of damage. And then 180 can go into HP. And I kind of want to hit that. I do want to hit the 9, but I don't think it really matters as far as what Ndidi wants to do, so I'll leave it right there. I think this is a good spread. And we have 56 EVs in special attack just so we can do a little bit of chip to things with Dazzling Gleam. And that's one of Ndidi's problems. It can be annoying, but it doesn't really deal much damage, right? So we want to be able to deal some damage. And then we just make sure we make it min speed. So that's going to be my Ndidi set. So Armor Rouge. I kind of want to be a little creative for Armor Rouge, right? I don't want to lose to Amoonguss, so I do want Safety Goggles, but I don't want Grass Terror. Because a lot of mons are predicting Grass Terror or Armor Rouge. I mean, it's still really good, but I don't want to be walled by Heatran, right? Actually, I kind of think I had an idea that I want to go Ground Terror and Terra Blast, but I kind of have Ursaluna with the ground coverage, right? But this does give me like, a resistance to rock, and a lot of people try to go for rock to flinch out Armor Rouge. And how good is White Guard here? I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to go with Terra Blast anymore. I think I might want to go with the Grass Terror and go with Aura Spear. I'll give it a try. I want to try something different, a unique Armor Rouge set. So I think, this would be pretty cool. We are still weak to ice when we Terra, but I think the ground Terror, you could just surprise KO Heatran. Heatran's not going to Terra in front of this, this set, because it doesn't want to take an expanding force once it turns Grass Terror. And it wants to stay, it's already immune to your fire type attacks, right? So you could surprise it with the ground Terra Blast, right? And just one hit KO it to kind of remove like an annoyance for this team. So that's the idea of what I want to do. We'll see if the Grass Terror plus, Life Orb end up being better. But I feel like with Grass Terror, I want to go Energy Ball. But then I'm just really walled by Heatran without it tearing, right? And we don't want to be stuck right there in front of Heatran, not being able to do anything. All right, so I'm going to raise that to 100. All right, and let's see. So I do want to hit the last EV bump again. It's usually like about 216. Maybe it's different. Oh, I haven't put it in modest. So I'm going to go modest. All right, and it's about 216, I believe. Yep, so 374. And we do want to be min speed because we are hard Trick Room without Lilligant. So I want to outspeed underspeed other Armor Rouge. And potentially other mons that aren't min speed. So we want to go with the Quiet on you as well. And let's see. We want to be defensive. We want a lot of defense because, the physical attackers are out in this format. And we want to make sure that we don't just get, knocked out by physical attacks. And we could put a little bit in defense. And then the rest can go in HP. Let's see. We want to get to that 9 still. So we get to 349. That put the rest in special defense, right? And this way we're pretty bulky on the physical side. We have decent bulk on the special side. And like I said, I'm not really that worried about special attacks. I guess Chi-Yu can be kind of annoying. But we need to find other ways to play around Chi-Yu other than... let's see. Actually, Chi-Yu dark type attacks. Those are pretty bad, right? I think I have to find another way to play around Chi-Yu. Like Choice Specs, Safety Goggles Chi-Yu looks like it's a problem for my team. I don't think it can one-hit KO my Armor Rouge. But for that fact, I do want to put a little bit more into defense. Special defense. This way I can just go Ground Terror and then just Terra Blast Chi-Yu and one-hit KO it. Right? So we'll kind of go with that. And like I said, the Safety Goggles is to help me with the Amoonguss matchup. We don't want to be just losing to Amoonguss under Trick Room. So they can't Spore me and I can hit their teammates. So I like this Amaru set, so we'll go with this. I think this is unique. I haven't seen anyone try this set, and I want to see how well it does on ladder. My team does have a Chiyu weakness. Chiyu's not that common though, so I don't want to go too hard on the countering Chiyu. Safety Goggles Chiyu just seems really bad. I guess Safety Goggles Ghost Terror Chiyu completely just walls it, but I can kind of beat it with Lilligant if it doesn't terror in a ghost. All right, if it tears in the water, then I can just Leaf Blade it. All right, so our Ursaluna. The Ursaluna that I had on my previous team was Ghost Terror, so I kind of want to do something different. I think I do want to go with the normal Terror on Ursaluna. That way, we keep our fighting weakness, but we're only weak to fighting, right? We get rid of all those other annoying weaknesses, and our facades are just doing a lot of damage. And our idea is that we really want to just KO everything on the Trick Room quickly, so they can't really like play around it. Right, so we definitely want to go with the Flame Orb. I haven't really, experiment with any other sets. I still think that Flame Orb is the best set. We do want Headlong Rush, and the reason we want Headlong Rush is because Earthquake, we don't have any partners Earthquake next to, right? So we don't want to be hitting our own teammates, right? And high horsepower, the thing about it is it's a lot weaker than close combat, and it's close combat, but not close combat. Headlong Rush has a downside of dropping your defenses, but this can miss, right? And that's kind of annoying that it has that 5% chance of missing and it's weaker. So I'd rather take the guaranteed more damage and not have to worry about missing. So we'll go with Headlong Rush. And now I do want a spread type attack just so I can hit both when I'm on the field in case I need to pick up a double KO on two things that are low HP and I don't want it to survive. So I don't want to have Earthquake, but I want to go with Rock Slide. This way I can hit like flying types and ice types and just things that, try to Terra Flying to get around Ursaluna, right? And then we want to have Protect, which is pretty consistent. I thought about Grass Terror on this, but then we still retain that ice weakness. Actually, Grass Terror might be pretty good now that I think about it. All right, what does that lose to? Other Torkoal? But it stops them from Surging Striking us. We don't lose to Rillaboom with the water type attacks. Among Us can't redirect us. I think I want to go with Grass. Let's go with Grass. I think Grass is good. I did want Normal type, which is offensive and defensive, but I think the defensive Terror with Grass can be pretty good for my team. Terra Blast would be interesting, but I kind of feel like I want Rock. Actually, can we go with a Terra Blast? There's a lot of water Terror right now. Yeah, I like that. I like this. So now we can use it offensively too. So similar to Armarouge, like we both have Terra Blast on these. That kind of makes this team unique. So what I'm trying to do is like this core, you might see someone else build a similar core, but they're not gonna have it similar to like what I have. I kind of, the only standard set I really have is really like Indeedee and Torkoal. Like I'm using like different sets on most of these mons. And now let's go to the EVs on this. So we definitely want to be brave and drop our speed, right? Because like I said, I don't want to go for the speed wars. I want to know that if I get Trick Room up, that mine is going to be slower unless you're min speed too, right? And one of the things that I found with my other team that I just made that's like pseudo Trick Room is that because I'm not min speed on things, I have to worry about them underspeeding me if they're min speed, or just worry about whoever has the less investment and things like that. And I kind of did that so I can deny other teams Trick Room and outspeed them. But a lot of the times they're not minimum speed like I want it to be, right? So that way it's kind of like 50-50 on who's going to move first between Ursalunas. So with this, I know that my Ursaluna is going to move first unless they're min speed too. All right, and we kind of want Trick Room up more. So that's the idea behind that. For our attack, we want to go to the EV bump. So I believe it's 216 always, right? That jumps it from 405 to 407. So we don't really need the rest of that attack. This is going to be doing enough damage at this point, right? And our special attack, our special defense is pretty low, right? So we want to kind of bring that up. I want to bring it up to around 220, right? I think that's a good stat. And then we want to bring our defense up just a little bit so we're not KO'd by that. Let's go to 260. And the reason I always leave it on the 0 is because when you drop it down to 50, that just gives me more balanced stats as well. That's why I always go for that, because I calculate mines by 100. So we always go to one of the 20s, one of the zeros if we can, right? And that way, this also, when you get your stats reduced, it kind of like reduces it more when you're not on that full number, right? So we'll go with the rest of it in HP. And I think this is a good set. I do want to have it on a 9 so we optimize the flame or chip, right? I think we'll drop the physical defense just a little bit, right? And leave it right there. All right, so we did drop it just a little bit, but this helps me so that we optimize with that 9. You always want to have the 9 so we optimize the flame orb chip, so we take the least amount of flame orb chip as possible. All right, and that's the Ursaluna set I want to go with. And now my Iron Hands. So I want my Iron Hands to be unique from others. I do want Ghost Terror on this. And the reason I want Ghost Terror is that we can't get faked out. We can fake out the other team. And this helps me against, so what Iron Hands lose to is other Ursaluna, right? So Ursaluna like to read that you're going for Grass Terror. And also a lot of things click ice moves into you, like things that are super effective into grass types. And we're also going to be weak to fire. So we want to kind of be neutral to that, so we get the most out of our assault vest. And only thing Ghost is weak to is dark, which you normally resist, and other ghosts, right? And a lot of times there's not a lot of ghost coverage in the format outside of Flutter Mane. Things aren't really teching Ghost Terror Blast, right? So this also helps me, like I said, be immune to fake out in the trick room in case they try to stall your trick room out. And now Ursaluna is going to always probably read you going for Grass Terror, so it can't hit you with a ground move. And it's going to usually just click Facade into you, right? But now you're immune to Facade. So now you can win the 1v1 against Ursaluna. And another good thing that I want to do is that since... Let's put our moves first before we get into the last move. Fake Out, Drain Punch, and Thunder Punch. I like Thunder Punch over Wild Charge because I like to keep as much HP on my Iron Hands as possible. And Wild Charge, while it is 15 base more damage, you know, you take that chip, right? And if you like one hit KO or something with a Wild Charge, you're taking a lot of chip. So I like Thunder Punch with also the chance to paralyze, right? Sometimes that paralysis gives you a win con in games that you don't really have it, right? And I like to play towards win cons when you have them. And Drain Punch over close combat just so you're not dropping your defenses, and you also can heal a little bit. So the last move I want to do is another Terra Blast move, right? I want to go with Terra Blast Ghost. And this way, a lot of times Flutter Mane on lead do not Terra in front of Iron Hands because they expect you to be Assault Vest, and a lot of times they can't just one-shot you unless they're specs. So a lot of the times they won't go for Fairy Terror, and you can just one-shot them with Ghost Terror, right? And a lot of things like Ursaluna like to go Ghost Terror. Anything that likes to go Ghost Terror in order to get around, you know, like fake outs and things like that, you can just go Ghost Terror your own and then just one hit KO them. Like Chiyu loves to go Ghost Terror, right, to get around fake out. So you can Terror into Ghost and then just one hit KO Chiyu with Terra Blast, right? If it goes for like a fire type attack, you'll survive that. Now it will probably KO you with like a Dark Pulse, but a lot of the times they're not gonna click Dark Pulse in their Iron Hands, right? And that's a good thing about the synergy between this Terror and your original typing. So I kind of want to tech this in. Like I say, sometimes these Terra Blasts might not be the most optimal, but I want to do some things that, since we're playing on, you know, ranked ladder, which is best of 1, we want to do what we can to give ourselves an advantage and surprise the opponent. And these like Terra Blasts can, like, you know, give you different coverage that they're not expecting, right? Like grass coverage on Ursaluna, they're not expecting that into water types. The ground coverage on Armorers, they're not really expecting that, right? And the ghost coverage on Iron Hands, they're not gonna be expecting that. So this kind of just makes it a little bit fun. You know, you don't want to have, you know, more than, I feel like 3 Terra Blasts at the most is good on your team, because you can only Terra one of these per game, right? So a lot of the times it's just going to be a normal type attack, but our other coverage are so good that the Terra Blast can completely win us a game, but just by removing something that we usually can't remove with our normal dual typings, right? Our dual typing stabs. So that's the idea that I want to use behind that. So same with Iron Hands, we want to make it Brave Nature. And then we want to go to that EV bump as well. So it's going to be the same as Ursaluna, right? Where it's about 407, right? And we want to be really bulky on the special defense side, right? So we want to kind of bump this up to maybe about this. This makes us really specially defensive. and that's kind of what we want for our Iron Hands, right? So it just sticks around on the field. I want to bring this up to 260, and then I put the rest in HP. Again, we're at this 6 number. We want to kind of get that 9, but I really don't want to drop any more of my defenses. I kind of want to keep them there, so we'll go with that, and then we'll just make ourselves min speed. A lot of Iron Hands are not min speed, so like I say, we want to make sure that we're playing, you know, we're utilizing the most of our trick room, because we do want to be on the trick room. And Lilligant is the only one that really doesn't want to be on the trick room, but it puts on a lot of pressure turn 1, right? And I feel like leading Lilligant, Torkoal with Indeedee Armorage in the back is really consistent, because you can threaten with Torkoal, right? And then you have this trick room core in the back. Lilligant, I think it may need another partner so that you don't have to play hard trick room, but I kind of just wanted to play Sunroom and with hard trick room, right? So that's the idea behind that. What I would recommend if you do play Lilligant Torkoal, like I said, I want to build another Lilligant Torkoal that's not like stuck in hard trick room, so that I can like utilize Lilligant more so than just, you know, coming out and only playing alongside Torkoal. But I do feel like just on a hard trick room team, if they lead hard to start trick room, that you can just sweep in games with Lilligant Torkoal, and then just play like towards Iron Hands and Ursaluna or Armorage and things like that in the end game. So this is gonna be my Sunroom team. I am gonna make a Pokepaste for it and post it on a video once I get this team in game, as well as a rental code. It's gonna take me a few days to actually get these in game and like get the EVs properly done in game, so that I can bring this team out. I do have some of these mons already in game, and I just need to change like some of the Terra types and stuff around like that. But we're gonna go ahead and work on that. And once I get them in game, you know, I'll make a video for it and we'll be able to play with it. We could play a couple Showdown matches with it, but I will probably make a separate video for that as well, because this video is actually getting pretty long, and I just want to be just show you just what my thoughts behind building an Armorage team, Lilligant Sunroom. So if you like this type of video, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I'm making Pokemon content every day, and I haven't done much team building videos. I have been focused a lot on my Spotlight videos and my Journey Thru VGC videos, which is gameplay. And Spotlight is pretty much just spotlighting Pokemon that are kind of rising in usage, or that are showing up and are kind of better than what we thought they were, right? So that's the idea behind that. But I can make more team building videos if that's something that you all like. And like I say, I'm gonna have another team building video come out where we show you the tools that you can use to team build, where there's damage calculator, Maryland, which helps you build the defensive synergy on your team, and just like a lot of other tools that I like to use, like tournament results and usage stats and things like that. So we'll go over those in one of our next team building videos. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. All right, deuces.